All right, what's up, everyone? My name is Jesse Park, and I'm going to talk real quick now about how to find chords within a given mode. I've had a lot of different messages come up at me asking me how people can find the right chords to use when they want to use a particular mode. So a lot of times people are using, Dorian or Phrygian or even just a natural minor, something like that. And they know the scale, but they don't know what chords they can use underneath to play a solo over top or to make a melody over top, or you can use the same stuff for songwriting. It's great. So I'm going to do a two-part series right now. First one is going to be digital like this, and then I'm going to demonstrate everything on the guitar as well in the second part, but I think this is just a better way to visualize it first, seeing it all written out. And if you guys want this document, just send me a direct message after the live video, and I'll be happy to send it to you. All right, so first things first, we got to have this memorized. This is the diatonic sequence of chords. These Roman numerals represent the 7 degrees of the major scale and the chords that are associated with it. You kind of have to have this memorized before moving forward at all, because every other mode is derived, pardon me, off of this sequence. So step one, once we have this kind of memorized here, you're also going to want to know your the order of your modes. So the order of the modes is Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian. So here are your 7 modes. And step one, we need to determine the mode we want to use. So for today's example, I'm just going to use Dorian, and you want to know that Dorian is the second mode, right? Because up here I have my list of modes: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so because I'm using Dorian, Dorian's the second mode, and the characteristic notes in Dorian are a flat 3 and a flat 7. We'll come back to that in a minute, but that's imperative to know in order to move forward, okay? So here we go. This is our example. Now we're going to get into step 2. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this diatonic sequence of major chords, I'm going to paste it down here. And now, because we're doing Dorian, like I said, it's the second mode, I'm going to start my new sequence of chords over the 2nd degree here. Okay, so now my 2 chord is going to become my 1 chord. So I'm going to redo it in Roman numerals, and I'm going to make this my 1. So once again, the reason I'm starting it over the 2 chord here, ideally you're writing this out on a piece of paper, but digitally, it's going to look like this. The reason I'm starting with the 2 chord is because I'm using Dorian, which is the 2nd mode, and you see the list of modes up here. It's number 2. So now I'm going to rewrite this sequence in the exact same order, just starting from the 2nd degree here. So now becomes 2 minor 7. This will be 3 major 7. This would be 4 7. This is 5 minor 7. This will be 6 minor 7 flat 5. And then the last one here, because there's no more chords, we're just going to bring it from the first. So this is going to be 7 major 7. Now, remember I was saying about the characteristic notes within the modes. In Dorian, it's a flat 3 and a flat 7, so it's mandatory that we come back down here and we go, I only put 2 little dots there, sorry about that. And we go flat 3 and we go flat 7. Because if you don't do that, then everything's going to be wrong. Now, this is our new sequence for the Dorian scale. So Dorian chordal sequence, we'll call it, is this. Boom. Okay, now we want to make some music. We want to apply it to a specific key. All right, so what do we got? Kind of doing all the steps in one here, but this was supposed to be step 2, right, where you're rewrite the Roman numerals according to your mode, okay? And then that ended up with giving us the Dorian chordal sequence. Now we're going to go step 3. and that's going to be apply to a key. So I'm going to use A, Dorian, as my example. So now here's a couple of questions. You know, these are side pieces of theory that you kind of need to already know. But because I'm using A and because I want Dorian, Dorian is the second mode, like I said. So you got to think about A. A is the second degree of what major scale? So here we'll just put in kind of a side note. A is the second degree of what major scale? And if any of you know that, it's G, or you can say G major. Okay, so now you want to think about what is the key signature for G major. And if you know that, it's 1 sharp, F sharp. So now what we want to do is we're going to, the final step here, step 4, is we're going to apply the notes to the chord sequence. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take this chord sequence, drop it right here, and then we're going to write the actual chords underneath in A Dorian. Okay, so like I said, it's just 1 sharp is our key signature. That's the only thing we got to worry about, and we're going to follow this sequence. So it's going to be A minor 7, and B minor 7. Then we're going to go C major 7. The reason it's not C flat major 7, even though we're talking about a flat 3 here, is because typically in the key of A major, there's a C sharp. So by lowering that sharp a half step, C sharp goes down to C, and that is considered the flat 3 right there. So if you've done this right, this stuff will all match up, especially if you got your key signatures as well. So A minor 7, B minor 7, C major 7. Then we got our 4 chord is going to be D dominant 7. Then our 5 chord is going to be an E minor 7. And then our 6 chord is going to be an F sharp. Don't forget the key signature, minor 7, flat 5. And then finally, our flat 7 major 7 is going to be a G major 7. So there you go. Maybe I can highlight this in a way that these are all the chords available in the key of A Dorian. You know, you could just pick 2 or 3 or 4 of them, however you want. Of course, try to center it around A, being the tonal center, because it'll just make a whole lot more sense, and you'll really be hearing the flat 3 and the flat 7 signature sound in there, signature characteristic. So, you know, like I said, I'm going to do a part 2 video where I'm actually playing some of the stuff on the guitar and demonstrating it in that way. But this, you know, step-by-step process essentially can be used no matter what mode you're in. I just used Dorian as the example, but, you know, there's 7 different modes, so that means the sequence is going to be shifted depending on what mode you're in, and you know, of course, the whole step, half step interval will change, and so the overall sound changes. And like I said, once you understand this stuff, you really will never feel like you're in a box again, whether it be for songwriting, soloing, melody development, or any of that kind of stuff. So definitely a few other pieces of theory that you got to know to apply this, but nothing major, and really repetition, writing this stuff out and practicing it will make it come quicker and quicker, and you'll be able to do it on the fly in your head before you know it. So hit me up if you want a copy of this document. Look out for my part 2, and hope this helped. Have a great day, guys. Ciao.